Live from the city of Los Angeles. Yeah, your boy's back, man. It is August 22nd, 2023. I'm your host, Duane Cofield. This is Drug Leaders to Businessmen podcast. This is the weekly tap in, and I'm tapping in. What's good, y'all? Catching y'all off guard, of course, as we always should be on. What's been happening, everybody? Don't talk at once. I know this is a one-way communication, even for the most part. But also at the same time, it's a two-way communication between those who watch this live. And if you're watching on the replay, man, we certainly appreciate you tapping in. Man, it's all love. Trust me, believe that one. So yes, indeed, man. A lot of ground to cover, man, in such a little short amount of time, man. But we have a lot of ground to cover, man. Things have been happening really good. We've been staying consistent, man. And today we're going to talk about a formula that I've come up with, man, that I'm still testing. So I want to make sure I make that notice that I'm still testing it. But so far it's been working, man. This is episode number 2 of season 5, man. 20 equals 1. 20 equals 1. And we'll get into the details, but if you tapping in for the first time or wherever you tapping in from, make sure you hit the comments, put your city where you repping from. I know it's a little early for some of my people down south, Midwest, wherever the case may be. I know this is right on time for you, man. And all messages are divine. That's what I really want to say as well, man. There's no accidental messages, man. I've been talking to a lot of homies about that lately, about how things I ain't turning down nothing, man, which means that if somebody's offering me some advice, right? If somebody's coming at me and like, AD, I got this play, or AD, man, you should look over this way, or AD. Anytime somebody's saying that, I'm like, man, I'm on it. Why? Because God sent you. He don't send nothing else, right? So I know God sent you, so I'm gonna go ahead and take that advice and run with it, man. Before I used to be like, nah, man, if it ain't what I want to hear at the time, then I'll just blow it off or whatever. It depends on who it is. The homie been on some BS for the last few times. Let me tap out, and I missed opportunities behind that. And a lot of them I didn't even know I missed because of that fact, right? You didn't know what you didn't know. You don't know what was getting ready to happen for you because you didn't pursue it. So this is an important little key right here that I want, or distinction I would rather say, is that when you see these opportunities and God sees these opportunities, don't blow them off. Even like the message today, mostly, oh man, he ain't talking about what I want to hear. You don't know what gift you getting ready to get, and the thing that very well may get you to the top because you're like, I don't want to hear it right now, or this ain't what I want to hear. Happens like that, but that's okay, right? God to send you another message. Hopefully, at the time you'll pay attention, right? That's the key right there. Hopefully, at the time you pay attention because it's difficult. When we're trying to get advice or we're looking for the thing that sounds good. That's why oftentimes we fall prey to lies because we're looking for something that's sexy, something that sounds good, something that's immediate. I don't want to hear what this cat talking about because it's going to take a long time, right? And the method that I'm talking about is daily action, right? So when we talk about the 20 equals 1 formula, 20 equals 1 means 20 minutes a day equals 1% a week, right? And you sitting there saying to yourself, but it's going to take me over a year. Man, most things take a long time. But just imagine if you can commit to yourself 20 minutes a day. What can you accomplish in 20 minutes a day, right? I ain't asking for 20 minutes in the hour, 20 minutes a day. That's not a huge commitment, right? And that's one of the things that I found that it's a lot easier to digest. There's a thing called the Pomeretto method, right? And they talk about kind of the same thing, how to attack things at 20-minute chunks, take a 5-minute break. I'm saying don't take a 5-minute break, just do the 20 minutes, right? Because what's going to end up happening is your 20 minutes is going to turn into something else, right? Your 20 minutes is going to turn into 40 because you're going to get on a roll at minimum, so you don't feel like I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing enough because everybody always has that guilt. I'm not doing enough. I need to be doing this, or such and such is out hustling me, or these and these cats are doing X, Y, Z, and I'm not catching up. Nah, you'd be shocked, right? And it doesn't take much to move the needle. That's the key right there. It doesn't take a lot to move the needle. So we need to kind of figure out what can we get done in these 20 minutes that we make it to more worse 1%. There's a lot to get done, right? And I'll use all the examples of all my businesses and show you how I use 20 minutes a day to get to that 1% a week, which ultimately got to me to where I am today, right? We're talking about long-term plays, right? We're not talking about short-term licks. Short-term licks are just that, right? They're short-term. They usually are, don't have a lot of staying power, right? But there's other moves that you can make, right? There's all these industries that I've been in. The guy I was meeting with a guy today from US Foods. Shout out to Omar Burger, man, for hooking me up with the US Foods guy. Sitting there talking to a cat, and he was like, "Man, do you have like experience?" I was like, "Well, no." I said, "But what I've done in the last 2 years, 2 or 3 years, is this. I went and worked for Omar Burger." I said, "The guy allowed me." I told him I was trying to, get into the restaurant game. He allowed me to work in his restaurant, and I learned in 2 months. He's like, "Oh," and I said, and then we started catering, and I said we catered for 2 years and did community events. He said, "Well, you have your experience now." And I remember at a time, I didn't have any restaurant experience. I didn't know what the F to do. I had no idea. Now, by doing little small plays, right? Small ones, okay, hooking up with them on Instagram, seeing if they hiring. Okay, are you willing to I can commit to you for this amount of months to work if you show me the ropes, XYZ. Okay, now, boom, learn that, go work my little hours, learn how to do customer service, learn how to work this register, learn about inventory cleaning, et cetera, right? I'm learning about all this stuff, preparing me for something that I've seen, vision. And let me pause on vision real quick, right? I had an opportunity to go speak with a men's mental health group this maybe about a week or two ago. And I brought in my tablets, right? I'll call them my biblical tablets, but it's basically my paper that I had when I was down at the lowest place, right? When I was in Wasco. And when I was in Wasco, I wrote on these things, and now I use that. And there was a guy in there, and he was like, "Man," he was like, "It's crazy to sit there and see that you had this vision then. When you were at the worst of the worst, when you're at the bottom of the barrel, you still had vision. You still had enough sense to write it down and keep it." And lo and behold, a lot of it's coming true. I'm a husband, businessman, teacher, got a few businesses going on. You know what I'm saying? God willing, shout out to my dad for being a tremendous supporter. You know what I'm saying? And when you think about that, right? How had no idea how any of it was going to pop. And this is the thing about it: it is not your concern, right? You got to start working diligently, small steps. Okay, let me become a better man first, right? Let me understand about education. Let me commit to something. So I committed to community college first. It started at community college, homies. That's where it started. That's where I actually met my wife. That's just crazy, right? You thinking like in the way I got to community college. I'm sure you guys have heard the story in some of these podcast episodes where the way I got to the college was, one, my brother was going to school, but he was going a completely different route. But my plug, the homie, was constantly at school. He's like, "Man, I'm taking business management, blah, blah, blah." And he would never be around. You could only get work from him at like between 6 and 7 at night. That was it. And then it became you had to get work from his homeboy. And then next thing you know, he was completely out of the game. I'm like, well, damn. So I started saying, okay, well, I want to get out the game. I don't see myself doing this as a long-term play. Man, let me try some of the things that he's trying. Let me check into school. So me and my relative, we checked into school. We found out it was grants involved. So we like, oh, we get paid for this, da 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 da. So we chilling, but we starting to really get it, right? We taking math 50, I think it was, English 50. And it was kind of divine because my English 50 teacher went to school with my mom, knew my parents. So she could have been a lot more harsh on me, which may have discouraged me. This is why I tell you guys divine stories, man. Nothing is by accident. And so she taught me a lot about English and was harder on me, but gave me that love. Like, I know your folks, you good here. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to her. I've got to think of her name. I think it's Atkinson. I think it's Yvonne Atkinson, if I'm not mistaken. But she was amazing. Hopefully she's still around teaching. But, started there. Took a couple, learned about business management, and God will start to provide you the teachers, the motivators, the people that you need that's going to get you on that right path. All you have to do is show intention and interest. and make those first steps, right? He does want you to make these first steps. So as I started to proceed, I go to college, start to learn about it. Like, oh, okay, this is actually how it works. They'll pay for your school, they'll pay for your books for the most part if you don't have any money or whatever the case may be. I'm like, okay. And I start, found a professor. I was like, man, these cats are smooth. They come in dressed up, they smell good. All the students is geeking over 'em. I'm like, man, I want to be one of them cats, man. So I wanted to be a professor, not for the people geeking over them, but just because of the lives that you can change when you're in that position. I realized that the impact that the professors that I thought were really amazing had on me. So I wanted to become that to somebody else. And I also want to become a businessman and write books. The only thing I haven't done is start writing books yet. But I started to matriculate. And okay, I'm getting better grades. Confidence is going up. Okay, if I study a little harder, I'm getting better grades. I'm taking more complex classes. I'm taking stats. Okay, and then the counselor comes from the Cal State. Hey man, do you ever think about transferring? Actually, I didn't. What do you mean? Right? So I'm like, okay, cool. Start talking to him and start to look at my transcripts, and then I start to look at the history I had. And that's when it really hits you like, man, I've been nudging away at this shit. Slowly but surely, CIS class, English, philosophy, composition, all these different small little incremental steps, right, to get me there. And then I got to transfer. And that's when I really got into marketing and business. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is how marketing and business works. Advertising. I started taking more and more classes and started getting exposed to more and more things. What's going on, Joe? I started learning about clubs and organizations because as you start to go to these places, God sends your angels. I can't stress that enough. He sends them, and you people come out of nowhere and give you advice. They guide you. They hold your hand, throw you bones, right? All these things start to take place once you start to walk that path, right? So this is what I'm trying to tell. I stressed it on like start walking the path now. I don't care if it seems impossible. Like there's no way I'm gonna get the money. I don't know where is. So what? I'm telling you guys. So what? You can't worry about those things that God's controls. He will take care of it if it's meant to be. Keep walking in that direction. Don't be discouraged if you don't get there and people start talking shit like, "Oh man, well you couldn't do it, huh?" Man, whatever, homie. You keep going. And not it's never no, it's not right now, not for you, not this time, not this person, not this place, not this city. It's never no. Right? See, there's some adjustments that we may have to make in order to make that happen. You dig what I'm saying? So, what can we do? 20 minutes. Let me research a community college real quick, right? Let me go ahead and take a look at a community college and just look at their book. I mean, their class selection. What is it going to take for me to sign up? I stress school because people are like, oh man, I don't do school, I don't read it. Man, there's vocational stuff there too. I'm telling you to go there because you get access to libraries, right? The community library is cool, but the college libraries, the higher up you get in education, the better it gets, right? I promise you that. And there's books in there that can actually help you start businesses. I was just telling my students this is one of the reasons why we had to switch days is because I'm teaching 5 classes right now. You dig what I'm saying? So I'm stressed. I got a lot going on. I'm not stressed, but I got a lot going on. So I had to switch days. My kids are playing. My son's playing football. My daughter's in gymnastics, and it's a lot of things going on. So that's no excuse for me not to show up. I just need to make adjustments, right? You can't not commit to what you need to commit to. One of the homies reminded me of that. Hey, D, you got to tap in, homie. We need that. Then you don't realize the impact that you have on certain people. You know what I'm saying? And you thinking it's just you just running your mouth, but people use this as fuel because it's God driven. Sorry about that. Um, my apologies. But anyways, one of the things that I'll continue to stress is taking the time to nudge away at small little things. They're really important. And the reason why I say they're important is because they accumulate to large things, right? I'll talk about the stream concept, right? So um when you think about the rain, right? We just had some rain, hurricane, I forget what the they call it Hillary, I believe. And when you think about the accumulation of all these drops and what kind of rivers they created in such a short amount of time. So thinking about how you can accumulate these small little things, these 20-minute increments, 1%. 1% a week is nothing. That's not a lot. But it moves the needle, right? You 2, 3 months, man. It's almost like downloading, right? When you download something, oh, I'm at 1%. Okay. Damn, I'm at 3. Next thing I know, I'm at 8. Then I'm at 16. Okay. I'm starting to make progress. I'm starting to figure this stuff out. I jumped into the travel industry. I knew nothing about transportation. I knew nothing about buses, nothing about commercial. I knew vague, lightweight stuff. Hopped right in it. Hopped right in it and learned, right? On the way down, jumped like, oh shit, I got to parachute. Okay, well, let me figure it out on the way down. Right? Let me figure this out on the way down. Because a lot of times we spend so much time sitting up there on that cliff. Like, okay, so how am I gonna fall? Which way is the wind blowing? Let me tell you something. It's unpredictable. How about that? You have no idea, but I tell you what, you ain't gonna fly sitting up here. It's about to be nighttime and you're gonna miss your turn. Right? And somebody else is gonna tell you how sweet it was when they jumped. Like, man, it was cracking. You didn't see that? Nah, I got dark on me because I was scared to move. And my opportunity shrunk up. And when that happens, you like, man, where's the opportunities now? You have to start to jump. And that means it doesn't mean like, let me just take off and do a suicide into something and break myself and da 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 da. No. But what it does mean is that you need to start doing something, right? Business planners, business plan templates. Start with your mission statement. Shit. You know what I mean? You may not even have a company. You may not have a website. You may not have a www dot nothing. Start with it. What are you going to call it? What do you want to call it? Okay, man, I had a vision for this. Well, start with that. I was telling this cat today, I said, I build brands before I build businesses. A business is just a skeleton. A brand is the thing that has the value. It's the differentiating factor. It's the way, when you look at Oscar Mayer and them, it's the way they separated meat. You watch the Foods That Built America, they talk about that, right? They talk about that transition from a meat shop where it was hot dogs just all over the place. You can just get whatever one. Somebody said, nah, F that, man. Ours is different this way. So we're going to put it in this bag and we're going to put this brand on it. And that's what we have to do, not only from a business standpoint, but from individual standpoint, right? How are we different? How are we, what makes me different, a different professor? I got a podcast. I do this, I do that, I do this, right? So I can add a little bit different to the conversation, right? As opposed to what the textbook has to offer. So now I could bring a little bit different. I come from the street, so I have a different kind of edge. I understand that game too. So like Jay-Z said, man, the difference between us and the Harvard boys is we lived several lives. They've only lived one, right? So street cats, we got to get in these, whether it's vocational, and a lot of times you can do a trade. So they're having a lot of construction going on in LA right now, right? They're building the Clipper Stadium, a lot going on by SoFi, right? There's opportunity there too. If you're an electrician, you go get certified, go become an apprentice, and then go start your own stuff. And the same thing that happened to you, you continue to keep that going. Pay it forward, as they say sometimes. That's the type of energy we need, right? That's what we're looking for, right? And it starts with that 20 equals 1. That's all it takes. 20 equals 1. Give me 20 minutes, dog. 20 minutes, you can do a lot. How many searches can you pull off? How many emails can you fire off? How many applications can you fill out? Right? I sat down yesterday and just knocked out business. Needed to train our seller, change our seller's permit address and this and that. I need to call this. And I just set out and I use my book of positive intentions. It sets my tone. Those things are all little things that I can do to nudge my needle, right? To move it just a little bit. Doesn't take much, but the results, when somebody comes and looks at you, you like, yeah, they like, damn, man, you've been really putting it down. Nah, man, I've been moving this needle 1% every day. You just haven't seen me in the last 6 months, but 1% every day. I mean, I'm sorry, 1% every week, 20 minutes a day, right? So I've been at this, constantly trying to move it and push it and do little things. I was up there spray painting yesterday, and you force yourself to do it. Okay, you worked on your dream yet? Nah, man. Okay, we'll start. What can you do in 20 minutes? Okay, well, I can change the logo color. I can add this. I can create a banner. I've done that. I created our coming soon banner in like 20 minutes. Put that on there, and I got people following us. Put that in front of the business. Oh, y'all finna start a chicken. Took me 20 minutes to design and place the order. It was $35. Right? But that's commit. God loves those little commitments. You think he don't want those? He wants you to, man, what? He like, oh, okay, you working without you even seeing me, the big package? Yeah, guy. Oh, he like, man, I got you. Oh, the big package is coming. Don't trip. Just keep doing your little work. And people can call it what you want. You know what I'm saying? Let them call it little, because that's what normally people call it. Oh, you got your little business going. Oh, you got your little restaurant. Oh, you got your little bus. Oh, okay. Y'all still doing that, your little stuff. Like, yeah, okay, whatever. Little things become big, right? Little problems become big, just like little opportunities become big, right? And you can do that right now. You have so much control. That's the thing about it. You have so much control. I would tell you if I wasn't living my dream. I would tell you. I'm like, man, I'm married exactly who I dreamed about being married to. I live exactly in the house that I thought we were gonna live in the city. I was sitting up there doing a walk today, overlooking the ocean. I'm like, man, ain't this a bitch? How? Because I saw it. Me and God have a plan. God said, okay, well, you keep grinding. I ain't gonna tell you that it wasn't easy. It was hard as I don't know what. But you get it. You willing to pay the price, you willing to sacrifice. You willing to go and take the steps and not fall in the holes, because there were so many holes. Somebody do something worthy of you, what the streets say you need to justify with justice. Get you all day, right? Let the streets handle that, man. You move on and carry on. That's the name of the game, longevity, y'all. Cats be playing. Oh man, remove yourself from the situation if you feel like that. Anywhere where you got to carry a pistol or something, you shouldn't be going, homie. Oh, I got it. Don't, man, let that go. Right? We should be fishing and chilling and trying to and telling stories and going golfing. That's what I'm looking forward to. Golfing. Let's go golfing, right? Once we get this paper together, let's spend a lot of time on this golf course, right? Chilling. That's exciting to me, right? But we got to do the work now. That's the key. While we're still fresh, while we still have this energy, while we still have um our spunk, for lack of better words, right? While we still have that, let's make these moves. And it's not going to tire us out. And this is the thing, right? 20 minutes a day. I'm not talking 7 days a week. I'm only talking 5. And the reason why I say 20 minutes a day and 5 for 5 days is because those are the days you can take care of business. So, oh man, I work. Whoop-de-whoop. They give you lunch. Do you have to eat it around Harold and Steve who complain about their wives? Or can you hit a left and go study Khan Academy real quick? Or can you hit a right and make a call to the city and ask about that permit? Or can you call the state and ask if the application has been submitted? Or can you crack your phone open and fill out an application on your lunch break? Or would you rather talk to Harold and Steve about how lazy their wives are? You see, the thing about it is you gotta match company or be by your damn self, you and your ideas. You don't need to be around people that are gonna talk you out of things by their actions or lack thereof, right? They'll talk you out of it or talk you into something. They don't even have to complain verbally. You can just tell by their actions or lack thereof, right? And that either motivates you. I was thinking about that the other day. I said, you know what? I said, LA is a trip. I said, it's hella competitive out here. Hella competitive, but good for you in a competitive way, right? So when you think about it, you think like, man, they make you stretch, right? You don't want to be in a town where it's a bunch of monkeys competing for bananas, or it's a bunch of chickens competing for chicken feed. You'll get confused. You'll start thinking that chicken feed is important and bananas are, right? Depends on your environment, they dictate what's important to you. Out here, there's motivational speakers, there's ballers, there's athletes, there's inherited money. There's just a bunch of energy out here. And I love being around competition. A lot of people are like, man, it's too much. Like New York. I'm like, nah, that's what I need. I need to be challenged. I need to be stretched. I need you, and I'm not telling you anything that just, hey, it's just kind of universal. What works for me. I need this type of energy, right? Because I don't want to be, I don't want to get into a competing match over pig slop. You know what I'm saying? But Depending on where you are, you can do that. You know what I mean? Because these cats don't want more than that because of whatever experience or whoever they've been around. So you got to be careful with who you surround yourself by because they'll talk you out of it. But you need to focus and concentrate on that 20 minutes. That's all it's going to take. That's all it's going to take to read an article, to subscribe to an article. You want to start a magazine, I mean, you want to start a business. Have you read the trade? Have you seen other stories that inspire you that are in that same circle? Right? Those are the stories and those are the things that you want to surround yourself with because you're going to have a lot of days that are going to be challenging, extremely challenging. And you're going to need to go to these resources in order to stay motivated. The thing about it is you can curate your feeds on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok by what you watch the most. So if it's a bunch of garbage and trash, you're going to constantly get that in your feed, right? If it's entrepreneurial type stories, workout things, you're going to constantly get that in your feed. So whatever you pay attention to the most, you get more of. The algorithms figured out the universe algorithm. Whatever you pay attention to expands, right? So what are you watching? What are you paying attention to? What motivates you? What gets you going? Right? Those are the things that you're going to constantly see on a regular basis. And what you constantly see, you're going to repeat. Right? It's subconscious. I didn't even know I was watching it that much. Yeah. My wife watches a lot of the drama shows. And when I sit there, it takes is like 5 or 10 minutes of them arguing and fighting. And I'm like, I'm out. Like the energy, I can't absorb it. I'm like, oh, yo. You know what I'm saying? And that's no disrespect to her because I know a lot of women like those shows, but I'm just like, it's a mismatch of energy for me. It doesn't match my energy well. So instantly, I'm like, I'm out. I'm dipping. You know what I mean? And she kind of takes she don't really watching around. She's like, you always judging. I'm like, some of it's entertaining and funny, but when they get really loud and messy and divorce and cheating and all that stuff, those are things that you absorb. You know what I'm saying? So you got to really watch that, right? So I really curate my environment, right? What you're constantly. I remember I was on the street watching The Wire, and I may have talked about this like a week or two ago. I rewatched The Wire, and I said to myself, man, I don't know why you did that before you went to sleep. It's so important to monitor what you ingest before you go to sleep, not only physically, but mentally, through your eyes, through your ears. What you take in before you go to sleep, you marinate on subconsciously. And oftentimes we don't even realize when we wake up in a bad mood, we just need to check what we did last. What did we do last? Was I arguing? Was I listening to violent music? What was I actually listening to? What was I doing? And when you're working on your stuff, say for instance, the last 20 minutes before you go to sleep, you start working on your dream. Watch how you wake up. You're going to wake up inspired. You're going to wake up trying to finish. You're going to wake up and be mad happy because whatever you were trying to do last night, the place is open. Now you can call them and ask them questions, right? Especially if you were grinding and watching your stuff late at night, 9, 10 o'clock at night, like I were. Right now, you have the opportunity to go say, okay, well, now I can make that call to the city. I can make that call to somebody's business who I admire, and hey, are you guys hiring? I want to learn more about your business. Can I come talk to you, ask you questions? You got to take steps, dog. What do you want? We've talked about this over and over again. You can't sit there and keep watching people accomplish these things and wonder why you're not if you're not taking the time. And all it takes is 20 minutes. 20 minutes to move that needle 1%. It's almost like a charger, right? The electric charger. 20 minutes, man, get you 1%. So how many 20 minutes can you do? Now, certain days you're going to be able to do the 40, 60, maybe longer than that. Certain days you're going to struggle to get to that 20 minutes. But as long as you get to the 20 minutes, you're good. Right? You know, in the back of your mind, man, D said this for him. I'm going to take him up on it because he didn't make it up. It's just some stuff God sent him, period. And 20 minutes, dog. I spend 10 minutes writing my vision down, and then I start execution. And whatever I can do at that time that's on my list, I move that needle right then and there. And I encourage you guys to try some of these same things. So the vision has to be there first of all, and that starts with what you see and what you experience. Right? A lot of times we don't know that these things exist. We didn't know that we could really get to that point. I was thinking about some of the guys that I'm around now that I see, and I see their houses. I'm like, oh, those are houses, right? But that's making me stretch like, okay, This cat ain't that much different than you. You can get it too, right? And we're beyond intimidated by, oh, well, this is out here. No, 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 no. We out here playing. And you got to put yourself in environments to where you feel like, you know what? After so much confidence, and this is, keep in mind, this is a lot of hustling, this is a lot of school, and a lot of experience talking, right? So I'm not just telling you guys stuff that I'm just making up or just thinking, oh, this sounds pretty cool. I usually don't sound cool. My advice sounds kind of like, oh man, that sounds like a lot of work, D, and kind of working with God. And people don't want to hear God because they're like, man, I've been praying, I've been going to church. I'm like, yeah, but do you believe in what church got to do with it? And they're like, man, what? Yeah, what church has nothing to do with nothing. So are you walking on God's word? That's where I'm at with it. Are you walking on what God told you was going to be true? Not with all this other the shenanigans and rituals and all that stuff is all whatever. But the agreement that you and God made, are you walking on it? Are you making daily moves on that? Are you pursuing that? These are questions you need to ask yourself on a regular basis. Am I making moves towards my dreams, or am I just talking about it and hoping that I kick it around this cat so they talk me out of it? Or I kick it around this cat so I don't feel as bad that I haven't done shit, right? Because depending on who you're around, they won't make you feel bad, right? Now, you get around me, I'm like, man, hey, what happened to that? When you gonna do the XYZ? Have you done that yet? Okay, okay. And I'm not pressing you, right? Not like that. I'm pressing you like the friend that says, hey, you know what I'm saying? It's about time that you move that needle because I see you in a better position than the one you in. You ain't a hater or complainer, none of that. You're a player, so let's play. Right? Let's step our game up. Let's make moves. And it doesn't take much. I got to get the homie on here, man. Shout out to my homeboy James. Made moves, making moves. I'll wait to say the story when he comes on here and talks. But I'm watching him, man, made, I mean, really put it in action. He'll tell, oh man, I don't even want to take the credit for that. It ain't even about the podcast, right? It's about you making moves with God, trusting God, right? There's nothing better than trust. I was talking about that to the sales guy too. And I said, man, I tell my students all the time, you can't go into a sales relationship asking for marriage. It's like a courtship. You got to get to know somebody. And that's the thing about it, man. When a lot of times we rush into things thinking we could just come ask God, he just gives it to you. You're not ready yet, right? You got to work on some things. And when he sees you diligently working, 20 minutes, okay, you putting in work. You believe that this is, I believe it's possible. You told me so. So I'm gonna keep working at it every day, just moving the needle, moving the needle, moving the needle, right? And showing people what's going on, man. Oh man, don't trip. That's why it's on tape, baby. That's why you can watch it at any time, man. I've got to deliver more of these, homie. On trip. And I'm glad you working, Sammy, man. Learn that shit, man. Learn that whole game, dog. But yeah, man, that's what I've been doing. I've been working my butt off. We got the restaurant going. You guys follow us. Make sure you guys follow Sherelle's Famous Fried Chicken. That's SHERELLE, Famous Fried Chicken. Follow us so you guys can see the journey, how we actually putting it together. We got a restaurant coming in LA. So if you guys are coming to LA, listen to this podcast, check out my family's restaurant. We should be open probably in a couple months, but tap in. That's where I've been for the last probably 6 months. Not 6 months, but a few couple months is really working on that, and also these classes. So that's what I've been doing, and I've been moving the needle on that. It's on Instagram and on both. On both, follow us on both. Sherelle's Famous Fried Chicken. I'll put it in the chat. But yeah, man, we right on. Let's see. Oh, shoot, hold on. Let me try to put it in there real quick. Yeah, we've been working on that, man. And let's see. Just putting this in real quick so you guys can see that. You guys can follow us on any of those. Man, that'll be fantastic. I don't know if it went through. Oh yeah, there it goes. That's Sherelle's Famous Fried Chicken. Check us out. So we've been putting that together, man. We doing a complete build out. Been working on a sign, all kind of little things that have been taking up time, but are great and great content that I can show you guys. I'm not just talking. So when we put this restaurant together, it should be pretty dope. But if you guys are coming to LA, it's going to be right up the street from SoFi Stadium and also in the new Clipper Arena. So we're really proud of what we put together. But we've been grinding for about the last 2 or 3 years, building the brand, building the reputation, perfecting the recipe, and we still got a long way to go. But 20 minutes a day, learn that restaurant. I took this book. I can't stress, but much this book is actually I bought this book a couple years ago, and it's got everything you need. So if you get the itch on things like, man, should I get this recipe book or should I get? I want to, I want to make bake cookies. I'm pretty decent at that. Should I buy this book? Yes, buy the book. Hell yeah! Start testing your recipe and start selling them shits off the bat. But put them in. Go to the farmers market. Start getting them shits off. Right? Sweet Red Peach is another staple in Inglewood. That's how she started. She got 2 restaurants now. She got one in Inglewood across the street from SoFi. She got one at Menifee. I'm saying, dog. All these places started off with an idea. That was it. Somebody executed. Somebody not only it's not even execution sounds big and large. Somebody just actually sold something and proved that the concept worked. That's it. That's all you need, dog. And that's what I'm trying to tell cats. I'm like, man, listen, man, I got a lot of business experience, and then also in the academic, just reading retail books over and over, consumer behavior, marketing books, and just listening to all the things that people doing. This stuff is not rocket science, but it does take someone to make a move with God. I always tie it back to that because all the other stuff they'll teach you, that God will send the angels of expertise in order to tie your shoes up so that you don't fall. All right. That will conclude this weekly tap in for this week, man. I told y'all to be short and sweet, but always delivering it on time, man. I certainly appreciate you guys tapping in. The book that I'm reading is Restaurant Handbook, Management Handbook. Really good book, but make sure you guys follow us at Charles Famous Fried Chicken. Med Tours LA is also another sponsor, and hairlivery.com. These are the 3 brands that we have under the Cofield brands, which are our family brands. Each one of them has been built with the same strategy, dog. I'm telling you, 20 minutes a day will get you that 1%. God bless y'all. I'm tapping out.